Welcome to the BAM Podcast, your number one source of success inspiration. Do you find yourself looking for the secret to success? Join me in this quest as I interview people who have worked hard to turn their passion into fulfilling businesses and careers. I'm your host, Funke Oladele. Welcome to BAM Podcast. It's your host again, Funke Oladele. And today I am bringing to you a certified financial educator, financial coach, and the founder of Investing Padi in the Nigerian accent, the way it's supposed to be. She's going to tell us exactly what that means, and we get to know her, what she does. Specifically, her name is Shida Oye. As a financial educator, she educates and empowers people, especially African immigrants and women especially, to empower them about money matters, how to handle money, how to get better with your money, how to make money, right? And how to keep money, because that's also important. It's one thing to make and it's another to keep. And investing, I think she's very big on investing, which also informs the name Investing Padi. So today I am honored to have Shida here with us. Thank you for joining us on Bound Podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here, Funke. I am excited to chat with you today about money, my favorite topic.
It's all of our favorite topics, so I can't wait to hear hear what you have to share with us. We all have.
Absolutely.
I'd like to start off by having you tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself. Maybe I didn't introduce you well enough. Maybe there are some things about you that also needs to be known. Take us back to the beginning of Shida, what's your upbringing like, and specifically also sharing with us maybe your background and education also.
Absolutely. So you did a great job introducing me. You covered most of it. You have all the grounds covered. But taking us back, so I am Nigerian, was born in Lagos, Nigeria. I am the first child of two. So I have that older sister syndrome, trying to like figure everything out and carry everybody's problems on my head. The first child of two born in Lagos, Nigeria, was in Nigeria till I was 13. So spent the first 13 years of my life in Nigeria. I call those 13 years the foundational years of my life because those years definitely has molded me into the woman I am today. So I migrated to the States with my parents when I was with my family when I was 13. So came to the States, went to high school. We came to the States, we landed in Maryland, and I was in Maryland for high school and college. Went to college, got my bachelor's in physics. After college, I was a little confused, trying to figure out what to do with my life. So I took a gap year. I then decided to go get my master's in engineering. I had my master's in energy systems engineering, more so focused on power. So power companies, electrification pretty much. And then after that, I moved to New York City, got a job in New York City, worked for an electric company in New York, worked in construction and operations, overseeing like people who were building out the electric grid system. Now I transitioned over to consultants. I consult for those electric companies. That's my life outside of Investing Padi. With Investing Padi, I started Investing Padi 2 years ago. It's actually hard to believe because like I was just telling you right before we started the podcast, when we're doing things, sometimes we don't sit back to actually think about like how much we've put out there. And like I had to remind myself, like, wow, that was actually 2 years ago, 2020. And the reason why I started Investing Party is money is money is my favorite topic. I like to talk about money. I like to talk about how to make money. I like to talk about how to earn money. For me, like I know the struggles my parents went through to bring me here to this country, to allow me to have the life that I have today. And I feel like for me, this is not for everyone, for me, I have a responsibility to ensure that the next generation that comes after me is better than my generation. So it's like paving that way. And like for me, it's like, how do I ensure that my kids and my kids' kids, I'm setting them up for a better life and giving them a better future than my parents gave me? Because they've already set a good foundation, but I want to give them a better future. I think that's like an adage in Yoruba where it's like you continue to give your child the next generation a better future. So for me, that's one of my purpose in life. Like that's one of the things that drives me in life. How best can you give your children a better future is, setting them up financially, ensuring that they're fine. But in order to be able to do that, you have to learn money systems. You have to understand the systems and where you currently are. I grew up with the foundation of savings. Like my parents instilled the foundation of savings in me. Like you have to always save, no matter how much you make, put a portion of your money away. Even since I was a child, like when my parents' friends would come over to come and greet us, or there was a holiday going on and people gave money, I always had to keep that money. Start as I got into corporate America, I started to want to learn more about like investing and like building wealth. And let's just fast forward because I think we'll probably dissect that story more as we go on. But in 2020, the world, obviously the world shut down because of the pandemic. It was in that moment that a lot of people were talking about like the stock market and investing and just money in general. Money became a topic that we weren't so shy to talk about. Everyone was talking about how to come up. It was at that moment when I realized that, okay, I needed to learn about all of this stuff and take it more serious and not just do it passively. So I actively invested my time, my energy, and my money into learning. And in that process, I learned that, there's so much that I didn't know about the money system, especially here in America. If I didn't know, like, I like to think that I'm very well educated and very well like aware of what's going on, but yet there was still that gap in like my financial knowledge. Like if I wasn't aware of what's going on, there's so many other people like me who are not aware of what's going on and don't know how to win this money game. It's beyond just making money and spending. There's so much more we can do to ensure that the dollar we make, we stretch it out. That's why I started Investing Padi. I know that was long.
No, that was needed. Thank you so much for giving us that background information and even having it inspired by your own upbringing. Like what you're doing is inspired by, hey, my parents tried their best. I want to even do better for my generations to come. So it becomes something bigger than you that way. It becomes something that's more than making money for Shida. So which is good. And then you're extending that to people learning for
Absolutely.
yourself, for your generations, and then also empowering other people about it. So fast forward to you started talking about 2020.
Yeah,
Before we
2020.
talk about that,
The
we want to
2020
talk
happened.
about right, because it's still like it's left us in a state of shock and we're still recovering from it. So we're gonna spend some time talking about that. But you talked about studying physics, studying and then being an engineer. How did you like invest in learning? You did say you invested your money. What specifically did you do? And how did you like determine that, hey, I want to really devote my time into this finance world, right? Was it like a decision to switch, or it was just like an additional thing to your engineering that you started investing your time to?
So it's an additional thing. I'm still working in my engineering slash consultant job. I still have my 9 to 5, but it's an additional thing. So what was that catalyst that pushed me to get started? It's funny because it was at the peak of when the pandemic had just started. Someone who's my friend now, Jumi, she had posted on Instagram like, "Oh, I'm trying to learn about the stock market thing. Who wants to join me as my accountability partner?" It's something I've always wanted to learn, like even going back to like years ago, like 5 years from 2020. I had sent a message to like a group of friends that were really close. We talk about career, money, and different things. And I sent them a message asking them like, how does the stock market thing work? Because I didn't know. So like I finally found a good opportunity to have someone that I can like bounce ideas with, that we can learn together and embark on this journey together, and who can hold me accountable, who had the same interest or that same curiosity that I had in that moment. So her and I, we became buddies, investing buddies, Padi. Let me say it right. We signed up for several courses. I took a lot of courses. Like I'm still yet to sit down and tally up the amount of money I spent on learning, but it's definitely more than like 5 figures at this point. But like I took several courses, watched several YouTube videos, read several books, like to the point where if you ask me what book did you read, what YouTube video, I'm like, look, it was too many, too many. Like I was just anything I could find and absorb, I was just soaking it all in. And it was kind of just like peeling back an onion. I peeled one layer and I'm like, ah, and I just felt like I needed to keep peeling, and I was just, oh my God. So it's an addition. It's not like my full time job. Goodbye. Maybe one day, but for right now, not.
So that also went into talking about investing, Patty. So you talked about then becoming a financial educator. So was
Yeah.
there like a certification you did?
Yes.
And was that after you'd identified that you wanted to start doing investing, Paddy, or was that more of you learning first and then determining, hey, I want to be a financial coach? So how did that lead into investing, Paddy, and what is investing, Paddy?
Invest in Padi is a community of people who are interested in learning how to make their money work for them. And I was very intentional about the name because money and invest money, most especially money, it's like a taboo topic. Like think about it. When was the last time you talked to a friend of yours about how much you make? How you were able to negotiate to get that bonus? There's often like human beings, we like to show that, hey, I have the money, like whether it be consciously or unconsciously. Money is a utility. Like just like how electricity is one of those things that it's nice to have. We would like to have. Water is a utility, electricity is a utility, the house we live is a utility. But think about what is helping you get all of these utilities that you need to survive. It is money. So money is one of the foundational utilities, but we don't talk about it. We show that we have it, but we don't have that conversation of, hey, let me sit down with my friend, let me sit down with my family members and have that conversation of how do we come up together, be transparent, have that transparent conversation so that they can see what is actually possible. There's this ushashness around it where it's like you don't tell people this, you don't tell other people that because people start to envy you and all that stuff. It's when we actually are transparent that people have the opportunity to start seeing the possibilities of what's out there. So I started the community because I just felt like we needed to do better as especially as an immigrant community. We needed to do better in terms of having this money conversation. A lot of us come to America because we want a better life. We come to America for greener pastures. The greener pastures is beyond just get a job and work and do double, do triple hours. For those who are doing this, shout out to you because that's a lot of effort. That's a lot of your body strength you're putting into it to make money. But there are other ways that you can make money without sacrificing your time, without sacrificing your physical energy into earning the money. That was why I started Investing Padi because I felt like we needed to talk about strategies, we need to talk about systems, we needed to talk about ways to put our money to work. So yeah, that's what Investing Padi is here for. And the name really is just, it was very intentional because like I said, money is taboo. Money should not be a taboo topic. Everyone should feel like they have a friend, they have a buddy that they can go talk to about money. And that's why, buddy is, in broken English, it's like my buddy. So it's like your investment buddy, your money buddy. Come, this place is a place where there's no judgment zone. We can talk. Let's talk about the failures. Let's talk about some of the things that have worked out for you. And let's figure out a path forward. When it comes to the certification, I became certified late last year or early this year, but I started Investing Party in 2020. I think the certification really is just like the Nigerian in me, and it's also that imposter syndrome. To be very honest with you, we feel like I'm like, oh, I didn't go to school to learn about money. I don't have the degree to learn about money. So what gives me that authority? Whereas I already had a bunch of people who were listening to me who like got value in everything that I was providing, but I still felt that need to be like, okay, I had this certification to help back up my claim. So like I took the course associated with the certification, got certified, and I'm like, okay, I'm a certified educator. I'm gingered now.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's great to hear about investing, Paddy, how you started. You talked a little bit about imposter syndrome there. I'd like to always shine the light on that a little bit and the role it plays in people starting off whatever they want to start, right? Or doing what they want to do. Can you tell us a little bit more about imposter syndrome? and how that came to play with you? Did it also like show up before you started investing Paddy, before you went for certification, and how did you overcome that?
Absolutely. I feel like imposter syndrome is one of those things that never goes away. Regardless of how good you are, regardless of how old you are, regardless of what stage you are in your life, regardless of if you're president of some country, there's always going to be a moment where you're like, am I good enough? There's always that inside voice in you that's questioning your ability to do whatever it is you're doing at that moment. It's something that I've always battled with. But I think for me, even started an investment, but it was I started off by just saying I'm just gonna write this ebook. Like I wrote an ebook on how to start investing in stocks, and I just wrote, like with no intention of what I was going to do with the book. I just wrote. But how was I able to get over my imposter syndrome, or how am I still able to get over it? It's two things. My personal network. I have people around me who constantly encourage me, who constantly support me, who constantly put that mirror in front of me to make me realize that, girl, you are doing the dang thing. Like you're doing it. Stop doubting yourself. You are doing it. You know what you're doing. And they encourage me and they push me. And I think, secondly, it's the community. I have people just randomly sending me DMs telling me that, hey, this thing that I said a while back, they've been able to start investing for their kids. They started investing for themselves and their family. Because of me now, they have a 401k at their job, sharing their stories of the results that they've been, the actions that they've been able to take as a result of just listening to me speak on IG Live or watching my Instagram posts. I started Investing Padi to help improve people's lives, because ultimately, if you start to take your money seriously and you start to create systems and structures and you start to like be intentional about your spending, your saving, how much you're earning, and you're investing, this journey is not a journey that you're going to see the results tomorrow, but in the future, you will be able to sit down and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And it's not something that ends with you. Like it's something that can be passed down to generations. So for me, it's fulfilling, and it gets me going, because I'm like, girl, why are you questioning yourself? Like, people listening to you, you're actually making an impact. So those are the two things that helps me combat my imposter syndrome.
Awesome. So, as you were talking, you talked about starting off with writing your ebook. Tell us
Mm-hmm.
about that. You also talked about Instagram Live. So, when you started investing Paddy, did you think that, hey, this is what channel I'm going to use or the medium I'm going to use to educate people? And what was that initial medium you identified, and what other opportunities came along as you started?
So I knew it was definitely going to be Instagram that I was going to use to like promote the book. I love Instagram. I also have a creative side of me. I'm not sure if you've noticed or if you think I'm creative based on my post and all that stuff. I am a person with a lot of ideas. I knew it was going to be Instagram because I just love Instagram and I love the accessibility of Instagram, and I love how you can share information on Instagram. I started a brand new Instagram page separate from my private page. And the reason why I did that was because I'm just because you're my friend in real life doesn't mean you're my target audience. It doesn't mean that you're interested in what I have to say. I'm gonna start afresh and talk to people who want to learn about money. That's literally it. So I started afresh, started posting content, people started reposting, and we started building a community.
So, how did you build your community?
It started off with my network. I reposted it on my personal page a few times. I don't repost on my personal page anymore. I'm like, if you haven't gotten the memo the first few times, it's okay. You're not meant for, like, you're not interested in what I have to say, and that's okay. So I reposted on my personal page. A few of my friends started following me. Then they reposted on their page. So I think a good way to build community is reposting, like getting people within your community, your network, or people you don't even know who are in your community to share the post on their Instagram stories, because that's how it's like you have your network of 100 people. The person sharing it has a network of 100 people that you don't know. When they share it on their page, there's that exposure to an additional 100 people. So that's a total of 200 people you're exposed to. And there's that like trickle down effect. Like as the more everybody starts to share, the more your network expands, people who are getting exposure to the information you're sharing. I think the second thing has also been live, Instagram Live. going on Instagram lives, like just individually going on my Instagram lives, is a great way to build community. It's a great way for people to feel like they know you because you're showing up and you're having conversations with them. You're sharing whatever it is you want to share at that moment, but at the same time, you're giving people the opportunity to ask questions and you're giving them what you think the answer to their questions could be. So that helps to build likeness and trust. I think the third way is Instagram, collaborating on Instagram lives with other people. When you go on Instagram lives with other people, it shares the live with their audience. Their audience comes in, they're not aware of who you are, but they get to listen to you. And based on what you're saying, if what you're saying relates to them, they will also like follow you. And that's another way of building community. And then lastly, I've also been on several podcast interviews. Collaboration has been a big part of building a community.
That is good. Thank you for sharing that. Collaboration, showing up, and then building trust, building that community around just trust and I guess reliability, consistency. Those are things I'm hearing there.
Yeah.
All right. So having talked about investing, Paddy, you started with like your ebook. I mean, that also makes you like an author. I mean, right?
I actually don't
But
consider myself, but I guess so. Yeah.
that I mean, because sometimes I guess when we're doing something, we put our heart into it, and different parts of us pop up in the things we are doing, or whatever you tend to do, then open doors for opportunities of things you can do. Can you take us through the process of you writing and publishing your ebook?
Oh man, that was like 2 years ago. Why did I write the ebook? I wrote the ebook because I mentioned I was taking a lot of courses. I was learning about the stock market. And through that journey, it just felt like nothing was in regular English. It was like, and that's one of the reasons why people are intimidated about investing because it's kind of like, I don't understand what's being said. I can't comprehend it. Like, do I have to be a math genius in order to figure it out? And you don't have to be a math genius. Like I have a minor in math. I forgot to mention that. And even like people who go to school for accounting and math, some of them don't even know about investing because they're different sides of all of this stuff. And that's another thing I'm learning. Just because someone's an accountant doesn't mean they know how to invest. But like the books I was reading was just like it was very abstract. I couldn't feel it. I couldn't touch it. I couldn't relate to it. If you go to my Instagram and you watch my lives or my previous stories or read my posts, there's a pattern in the things I post. I post it based on how my brain works. The way my brain works is that I like to feel and touch things. I like to talk about things in a way where people can relate to it. They can absorb the information and feel like, oh my God, I see myself in that thing. Whatever it is I'm learning, I see myself in it. And that's really like just how my brain works. And that's how I like to put information out there. And I feel like there was a gap there. I wanted a book that was simple where people can understand the basics of the stock market. Like if you want to get started tomorrow, you can get started and understand the basics. It's not as complicated. Like what is the stock market? Like it's a vehicle, right? Think of you're in a car. It's a car that's allowing you to put your money to work. And how does it allow you to put your money to work? You are buying companies. And what are these companies that you're buying? These companies are companies that you and I use on a day to day basis. You and I are talking on Zoom right now. Zoom is a publicly traded company that you and I can own. So most of these companies were like, oh, they're big corporations. They're owned by big people. We don't know who these big people are, but we just know that people own them and they're big, and whoever owns it is a rich person. Okay, cool. But fun fact, you and I can actually own part of these publicly traded companies. And what gives us the opportunity to own them is the stock market. The stock market gives you and I an opportunity to own parts of it. So parts of it is a share of it, a share, a portion of a share. That's that part. So Funke, you can say, okay, Funke, I want to own Apple. I want to be part owner of Apple. How do I become part owner of Apple? I need to go through a brokerage company. And that's like, think about a brokerage company as like a house, like a bank. It's not a like bank, but it's the facilitator. It's the person you go to. Think of it like Amazon. If you want to buy a product on Amazon, right? You would go to Amazon.com. So there's a buyer and there's a seller. And in between the buyer and the seller, there's Amazon. That's brokering that transaction between the buyer and the seller. So the brokerage company is Amazon. And you go into the brokerage company and say, oh, I want to buy a company. I know the company I want to buy. Let's, for example, Apple. I want to buy Apple. You type in Apple. It gives you how much Apple is trading for at that time. So there is no, it's not a static price. The price varies based on the time period. And it gives you the price Apple is trading for at that time, and you can buy it. That brokerage company is where you can either sell out of it if you're like, I don't want to own it anymore. I want my money back, either at a profit or a loss. That was what I felt was missing. Like that simplicity of relating this topic to our everyday lives, where people can feel like, okay, this isn't so abstract. It's something that I understand. So that's why I wrote the ebook, just to simplify it. Like it's not rocket science. Let's simplify it.
So it sounds to me like you took lessons from the books you've read and
Hmm.
the gaps you thought were missing there. You put it together to break it down in layman's terms for anyone at any level to understand what the stock market is and how it works and how they can get
Absolutely.
into it. That is great to hear. And even the way you just explained it, that's very easy to understand, like without like carrying the dictionary or anything like that. That is awesome. Talking specifically about investing Paddy right now, take us through the experience in a very simplified way. If a person was coming to you and wants to learn about what you do or what do you offer through investing Paddy, what should they look out for? Is it mainly stocks, like investing in stocks, or is it like other forms of investment? Tell us exactly what you offer through investing Paddy.
Absolutely. So I started off with stocks. I'm going to and I started talking about just money overall. Earning money. Do you feel like you're earning enough money? Do you feel like you're not earning enough money? If not, let's talk about ways to either get you a new job or find you a side hustle. Because there are different ways, there are different creative ways that people are making money out here in these streets. And then secondly, it's like you're earning this money. Do you have a budget? Do you have a structure for your money? Do you have a job for your money? So like my paycheck, when I get paid, I don't see my full paycheck. Even before I get paid, I've already like I've given my money a lot of jobs before it even hits my bank account. And then when it hits my bank account, it has a few jobs it has to do. And I've set up automation where a certain portion of my paycheck goes to my 401k. A certain portion of my paycheck goes to my employee share purchase plan. A certain portion of my paycheck goes to my HSA. And then I get paid. After I get paid, I have a bank that automatically I do automatic transfers. So a certain portion of my paycheck goes to the bank that I'm using to pay off my mortgage. A certain portion of my paycheck goes to the bank that I'm using to keep my savings account. And then whatever is left in that bank account that money came into after all of that money has been distributed to everywhere it's supposed to go to, then that money is mine. I can do whatever I wish to do with it. But the thing is that are you earning enough? The second is budgeting. Like, do you have a purpose for your money? Every single dollar you make should have a purpose. Every single dollar. Even if it's fun money, but all of your money that's coming into your paycheck should not just be for fun. There should be a purpose behind it. So I also talk about money mapping, giving your money a purpose, putting your money to work, budgeting. Budgeting doesn't have to be boring. Budgeting can be fun. So I try to make it fun. Other thing is, the investing. Like when I just talked about how I put my money to work, a lot of that, branches my money went into were investment vehicles. So I talk about just how to make your money be smarter.
By doing that, do you do like one-on-one sessions or you mainly do group sessions or it varies depending on what the person needs?
So I do one-on-one sessions. I have that on a pause right now because I'm trying to figure out the best way to move forward with it. Because I feel like a 1 hour and a half one-on-one session is not enough. Like you're trying to change. Like I'm trying to change the way people see money, and also trying to change habits. It's like going to the gym. Like if you just see the trainer one time and expect that you know how you're going to like how you should constantly work out. It's hard. So there has to be that consistent program that holds you accountable, that constantly motivates you, that constantly is there to keep pushing you. So I'm thinking about launching a program, but it's been an uphill battle because I have other things that I'm doing too. So I've kind of just put the one-on-one in a pause. My IG page has lots of information. IGTVs have lots of information. I also like at the beginning of each year, one thing about me is I love to give back. Like me sharing information is my way of giving back. So like at the beginning of each year, I host like a group session. Like I think this year, January, I had like about 50 people signed up and they showed up. And like I host a group session where people come and I talk to them about it. We talk about money. They can ask whatever questions they have. They have me to themselves. I think the last one I stayed on a call for like 3, 4 hours where we just talked about money. And it was free. So I have those free sessions once a year. It's like, okay, this is my give back time. You have me, but let's talk. Whatever question you want to ask. I'm planning to roll out my group program. I don't want to put a date or time to that. Like I'm going with the flow of life. I'm pushing myself to start my YouTube channel because I feel like YouTube is also a great way to share information for people who need the information to find the information.
I ask those questions so people can be aware of what to expect, how to seek your services, and
Absolutely.
just prepare their minds. If you're going, looks like you have a number of free resources and mediums for them to learn. You also have paid programs, right?
Hmm.
So for your paid programs, is there like specific information you'd like to share regarding that in terms of how they can reach out to you to seek those services? And if you're comfortable talking about your pricing structures, or if it varies, just kind of share that so people are aware of maybe ballpark, or maybe when they contact you, that's when they find out.
No, definitely. So I don't have like the program is not ready to be launched yet. So I'll just say that people can just follow me on Instagram, invest in Padi, and stay tuned.
All right, sounds good. So right now, people can seek your resources and just absorb them for free,
Yeah.
right? Join the community. I mean, in that, it might seem like free, but it is costing you a lot. So,
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
costing you your time and everything. But take advantage of this. This sounds like something that is very valuable and is impacting people's lives positively, turning people's lives around. Because, I mean, everything revolves around money in this world we're living in. Everything revolves around money. So, yeah, let's do better with that and join this community. So it looks like the community is there, just joining you on Instagram Live. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, just follow me on Instagram and also download the ebook. And once you download the ebook, you get onto my newsletter.
Is it free? Is it free to download the ebook or
Yeah, it's free.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, free resources. Please take advantage of that. Win. Win with
Absolutely.
Shida. So you did talk about the feedback you're getting from people who are in your community taking advantage of your services and your advice. Tell us a few that you've heard about, or some of the stories or testimonials that have really, really kind of touched you and reinforced the reason why you're doing this.
It's a lot. Like I don't remember, but it's like I think for me the ones that actually like is like when parents reach out to me and they're like, "Oh, I opened up a 529 account for my kid." And a 529 account is it's an education investment account for your child. So it's kind of like a vehicle that allows you to start putting money away to save up for your child's college education. It's not just saving the money because you can put the money in a separate bank account to start saving it, but that money you're putting into that account is being invested. And as a result of that, when your child is ready to go to college, hopefully the market is up then. The money you get out is, your money plus the profit you've made from the investment. I'm really passionate about just the next generation, like just making sure that we give the next generation better than we had. Hearing parents say that, hey, I opened up a 529 for my child because, I heard you talking about it. Because I had shared my experience about how, like, I don't have kids yet. Last year, I opened up a 529 account for my future kids that I don't have. I'm getting a head start with saving up for them for college. And by the time they come to college age, like I'm gonna be older then. I don't want to be stressing then trying to figure out how much, how to get the money for college or, having to work multiple jobs because I'm trying to like, get them through school. Why not start now? That story, me sharing that story, and me constantly talking to them about invest now is the time to start investing for your kids. Like if you want to give your kids anything in the future, like if you want to pass down anything to them in the future, start now because they're kids and they have so much time. Like they have a lot, they have a long life ahead of them. Time is one of the biggest factor in investing. If you have time on your side, if you start early, let's say you give birth to a child, a newborn, and you like started investing for them like today, as soon as you gave birth to them, you don't even have to put that much in order to make that child a millionaire when they hit a certain age. I think I have a post about this. I want to get you the actual numbers because hearing parents talk about, so for example, I said like if you start putting 20 like for example, $200 every month, when your child, like, let's say you just gave birth to your child, you start putting $200 every month in the investment account for them. That account in 40 years, so when that child turns 40, would be $1 million because you started early and you're not putting in that much. And it doesn't have to be $200. You can do $100, $50. Obviously, it won't be $1 million. It's going to be compound up to, whatever amount it's supposed to be. Just hearing parents tell me that they started for their children and they're putting in whatever amount they're putting in just makes me really happy because I'm like, they're setting up a really good foundation for this child as a result of just listening to this random girl on IG talk about invest for your child, invest for your child. So yeah.
That is making an impact in people's lives that way. I wanted to kind of talk about, the steps to getting started with investing because that's something that you're very big on. And we can end this session without at least hearing a little bit from you about that as the certified financial educator that puts the stamp on the things you do. But really, I think with the way you explained how your money works, with the automation, that's like a process, right? That's one
Hmm.
of the lessons you've shared today about, hey, my money comes in, I put it here, I put it there, I put it there, I put it there. That's a system that's worked for you. So, like getting started with investing, what's your advice for someone who's a novice and doesn't know where to get started, how to get started? What's the first step? What's the second step? What do we want to make sure they do to get their feet wet in that world?
So investing depends on what your goal is and like what your goal is. But ultimately, for anyone that's looking to get started, that's kind of just like, I'm confused, I just need something easy to get started. I would say start with your job. Do you know if your job has a 401k? Like a 401k is a retirement account that your employer, some employers offer, not all employers offer it. Maybe that should be a consideration. Like if your employer doesn't offer a 401k, should I even be working for this job? Should I be working for another job? I personally am not working for somebody that doesn't have a 401k. But like start with your job. Like, does your employer have a 401k? If the answer is yes, do you even have the 401k? Are you contributing money in the 401k? Are you participating or are you not participating? If you're not participating, why? Next question is, does your employer have a match? Have they committed to you, to their employees, by saying that if you contribute X amount of your paycheck, we will double the money. Like we will double your money. That's literally, if they have such commitment, some employers do, not all employers have that commitment. If they have such commitment, that's literally a 100% return on your investment. Where else are you going to get a committed 100% return on your investment? And if you are contributing, the next question is, okay, if they have a match, am I contributing up until that match? Can I comfortably contribute up until that match to get that free money? It's not free money. I always say it's not free money. It's part of your compensation. But this part of your compensation is you have a choice to decide if you want to take it or if you want to give them the money. That's really what it is. So like yeah, so check in to see if they have it. Are you participating? If you're not, talk to HR, try to figure out how you can participate. If you are participating or you want to start participating, understand what the match is. Try to see, are you contribute up into the match? If you're not, try your best to contribute up into the match if you can comfortably do it. I know, and everybody's situation is different, so I don't impose anything on anyone. And I think the next thing is also understanding the vesting period. That's another big one. Vesting period is the employer says you have to stay with this company for X amount of years in order for you to fully have that free money, that additional. So you have your money is your money. You can take your money wherever you go. Nobody takes your money back from you. But the free money, the matching that they're giving you is they usually have a stipulation associated with that and say you have to stay for X amount of years. So understand what that X amount of years is, just so that if you're like, I'm done with this company, have they put in a lot of match where I'm just like, I don't want to lose out on this money? Maybe that might be your reason to stay. But sometimes it's not even worth it. Sometimes it's not that much where you're just like, you know what, I'll make it up somewhere else, especially if I'm getting the salary increase. But I think your employer retirement account is a great place where I tell people to start from. Make sure you understand that. Make sure you're participating in that because it compounds, it grows over time. And if you start early, if you start right from when you get your first job, it compounds and it grows. Even if you haven't started and you're like 40 something, 50 something, still start, still put something in. It will compound over time. So I think for beginners, that is the first place you should be starting from. And this is just financial education, not financial advice.
Sounds good. Financial education. Thank you. Sounds good. So start with your work. It looks like that's the less intensive way to get started, right? And if you
It's
want to learn
automated,
more,
like
yeah,
it's
right.
automated. They take the money out of your paycheck every paycheck. You don't have to think about it.
I mean, the earlier the better for everybody. Please take that advice. Tell your parents too. I think that's another thing. When you learn at this age, teach your parents or your uncles and your aunties that, hey, yeah, you've been working, but have you really invested in your future after retirement? The earlier they get better, the earlier they get started, the better. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
No, I love the fact that you just mentioned that because that's also been, I've talked about generation, like the next generation. But like when you start to embark on this journey of financial awakening, you learn that it's beyond just you. Yeah, it's for you, it's for the people around you, it's for your future generation, but it's also for the generation that came before you. Like you said, your parents. Like I've had to have conversations with my parents with regards to their 401k. Like, like I learned like my mom wasn't really contributing to her 401k. And the only reason why I was able to figure that out is because I started to become more aware, started asking questions. It's not just for you. This journey is a beautiful journey. Like I do this for freedom. I think this is like my path of freedom where I can choose to do whatever I want to do at any given time.
Good, good. Personally for you, how has investing helped you, or what have you been able to realize from investing that makes you believe in it so much? In what different ways do you personally invest?
I'm no longer like I just mentioned, I invest and I constantly learn how to invest because of I feel like that's my way of earning my freedom. That's my way of choosing to live life, just having the ability to choose to live life on my own terms. Like I don't have to, like I love my job, but like I have a choice. Like if I don't want to work, I don't want to work. You get what I'm saying? Like I have a choice to get to that place of financial independence, financial freedom, where if I want to work, if I don't want to work, but it's not like I have to work because if I don't work now, the lights will go off. the foundational things that I need will be taken away. I'll be stripped away from those things because I don't have the money to fuel those things. Um, so how do I invest? I invest, like I just mentioned, I have different investment vehicles. My friends think I'm crazy, but it's a method to my madness. It's okay, it's cool. I'm trying to be a rich auntie in the future, and that's how you start now.
I love it. She's
Um,
like, it's my madness.
so like I invest in my 401k. I participate in the HSA, which is the Employee Share Purchase Plan. No, I'm sorry. HSA is Health Savings Account, which is associated with my health insurance, my high deductible health insurance. Invest through ESPP, which is the Employee Share Purchase Plan. I also have like brokers, like I invest like in a brokerage company, in a brokerage, like in a brokerage that's not associated with any tax benefit or anything. And what do I buy? Really, what I buy depends on the account. In like the tax benefit accounts, I like participate in like funds, exchange traded funds, target data funds, and then like my brokerage company, I buy like individual companies, like I buy individual stocks and individual companies. It's me, just a simple girl.
Sounds good. Sounds good to hear. So there are many, many different ways to invest, as she has shared here today. It's just about determining what your money target is, right? What your goal is, and determining where you can best fit it to your own advantage. That's what I'm also hearing. So it might be
Absolutely.
beneficial. She does ebook. Maybe I can get a link to that if you don't mind, actually.
Yes.
I can add it in the show notes so people can have access to it and information about her Instagram live. So tell us specifically what your Instagram page is, your website, different ways where people can connect with you and take advantage of your services and your resources.
Yeah, so Instagram is the best place to connect with me. Like we can chat as friends on there. It is investing, so INVESTING Padi, which is PADI. So investing Padi. That is my Instagram page, my only Instagram page, because scammers, started to pop out, and I was like, oh, I'm about to make it because they try to copy. But that's my only Instagram page, and I honestly feel like that's the best place to reach out to me because Instagram's an app away on my phone. I can instantly respond back to you. And yeah, so I'm gonna be starting a YouTube channel soon. This video is coming out soon. Videos pending. This is still trying to figure out how to shoot these YouTube videos. But stay tuned for YouTube. I'll definitely be posting on my Instagram page once it goes live. So I'm actually excited about. I'm nervous about it. I'm excited about it. I think one thing that your audience will realize when they start to follow me is I'm very real. Like you get what you see. I'm not like I don't try to show up to like show you perfection. Like this is all everything's perfect. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. No, I acknowledge the journey along the way. That's part of me sharing my imposter syndromes and the challenges.
It's okay. That's the realest you can be, right? And so you left out your website. How about your website?
So website is investmentbuddy.com.
Final question I'd like to ask you today, and I've come
Yes.
to start asking a lot of my guests is, what is your definition of success?
Success to me is freedom. If I could get to a place where I'm like don't have to worry about what the next dollar is coming from because I can generate that next dollar. I've created systems that's enabled me to be able to give myself that next dollar, to not have to think about it. That's success. Freedom.
Good
That's
to hear.
success.
Sounds very simple yet very loaded. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much today for your time, Shida. It's been great hearing from you. And thank you for all you do. This just seems more like a mission, right? More like, hey, let me share what I've learned for myself with people. And you don't get to see that a lot in our culture, in our upbringing. Like you talked about money, we tend to want to, hey, we're hoarding it. Or you find a source, you don't want to share it because what? I mean, what's the problem? It's about you alone. To
Everybody
go
is
around
scared
talk
about
about.
their village people. Their village people
Right,
is
right,
coming for them. Oh, go ahead, boss with
right.
these village people.
Even your village people will be happy to make some money because if there's some money in their hands, maybe they're not going to be coming after you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that's also another definition of success when you can go beyond yourself and you start giving back to people. I think
Yeah,
that's part of it. That's part of
absolutely.
it.
And that's part of the
Um,
freedom. Like you're free, now you can free other people.
Definitely. That is definitely it. So thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for taking time out here today. Wish you good luck in everything you're doing. You're going to do great
Thank
on
you,
YouTube. You've been doing Instagram Live, so forget about that imposter syndrome
girl.
stuff. Do what you learn, what you know how to do best. You've been great on this, on this session too, in this interview session. So thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you and you have a wonderful day. And also to all of our listeners on BAM Podcast, we bring the sessions to you for you to learn and to be empowered about what you want to do for yourself. This is a free resource. This is someone you can connect with. And she's going to be doing one on one. So maybe you need to sit down and really break down your budget and your finances and be open and be raw and be, realistic about, hey, I'm not doing anything right now. Help me. Maybe that's what you're going to need. Please, this is a resource for you. Try to reach out to her so you can do better, you can be better, you can be free. Freedom is very important for us, actually, for our health, for our livelihood, for everything we want to do. That's part of the reason why we're doing this podcast sessions. So thank you so much for listening. Catch up on previous episodes. Connect with us, share this session with your friends. So that way, especially the ones you know need it. We all know people like that around us, even us ourselves. Connect with Investing Paddy community and see how you can benefit from that. Thank you so much. Until the next time, I'm still your host, Funke Oladele.